In the next few weeks, the Scottish Government is expected to introduce legislation to speed up and simplify the process people go through to change their legally recognised gender. In advance of that, the BBC commissioned a poll of 2,000 adults in Scotland who were asked their views on the issue. The survey indicated general support for changing the process, but concern about the details. Our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon has been looking at the findings of the survey and speaking to one transgender couple about their experiences.
It was difficult for both of our families to understand it at first, but and their relationship's better than it's ever been.
Maya and her partner Zach are both transgender. Their families are now supportive of their transition, but their journey hasn't been easy.
I was 16, 17, 18, in and out of homelessness. Became addicted to drugs and alcohol. It's kind of crazy to look at myself now and be like, oh my God, I've got my dream job, I've got a flat, I've got a girlfriend, I've got 2 cats, and I've got family.
The couple, who are both 24, support reform of Scotland's Gender Recognition Act to make it less intrusive.
You need to have so much evidence. It's just really invasive. It puts you in a position of being mentally and physically exhausted having to do it.
But Zach feels it's important to be sure.
I definitely support it. I think people who are younger, they need to explore themselves, they need to get to know themselves, they need to, I didn't even know what job I wanted to do when I was 16. Some people might not even know that, let alone what gender they wanted to sit in for the rest of their life.
In a poll commissioned by the BBC, more than half of those questioned were in favour of making it easier to get a gender recognition certificate. A fifth opposed it. But on some of the specific proposals, opinion was more finely balanced. There were almost equal levels of support and opposition for allowing transgender people to self-identify by removing the requirement for a medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria. 44% of those questioned opposed reducing the time someone must have lived in their gender identity from 2 years to 6 months. 37% supported it. And a slight majority opposed reducing the legal age a person can transition from 18 to 16, or just under a third were in favour. The survey also suggests more support than opposition for transgender people to access single-sex spaces such as changing rooms. 35% said they should be able to do so only if they'd legally changed sex and had gender reassignment surgery. 28% said this should be allowed even if they had not had surgery. For some people, this is a fundamental and polarising issue, with protests on both sides.
We believe this proposal to bring in self-identification will mean that we will not be able to confront any male that is within our changing rooms. We might actually be breaking the law, be perceived as being transphobic by questioning why a male was there, because they would just stand up and say, oh, but I self-identify as a woman. I'm allowed to be in this space.
But some Scottish women's advocacy groups highlight that trans women already access services like rape and domestic violence support.
We have no concerns about the proposed reforms. We know that trans women access women's services anyway. We don't believe there are any proposed changes in the bill that will impact on single-sex spaces which already operate on a basis of self-ID.
The Scottish Government is likely to bring this bill to Parliament in the next few weeks. Some people have clear and strongly held positions on this issue, but this poll suggests many others are undecided. Lorna Gordon, BBC News, Edinburgh.